Hello, and welcome to my May 7th, 2021 update episode of the Brain Cancer Podcast. Now, I want to say that I know it's been a few weeks since I have posted anything. And it's due to a number of reasons. Some good, some not so good. But I do have the next episode. It's already recorded and it's about halfway done in the editing process. So it should be up very soon. I had my MRI 2 days ago on Wednesday. And then I had a later appointment today on Friday, the 7th, to get the results of that, as well as just bring up any other issues and kind of see how I've been doing over the past month. My appointment wasn't until 3 o'clock in the afternoon here today, so I didn't really do too much in the morning. I left here about 2 o'clock to get there for 3. They were definitely behind in the entire department today, as I sat after I got my blood drawn, which was right at 3 o'clock. And I got to see one of my favorite phlebotomists as well, since she doesn't usually work on Fridays anymore, so that was very nice. But I spent most of the time after that just sitting in the waiting room. But that's okay. That's just part of being in a hospital situation. Sometimes they are running behind. Sometimes it's out of their control. But I always have a magazine and my phone to entertain me. Once the nurse came out to take me in the back to do my vitals, it was a new nurse that I have never seen before. She also had me do my height as well as my usual blood pressure, oxygen sat, temperature, and weight. So when I took off my shoes and I stood against the thing, I am somehow an inch shorter than they told me when I had my measurements taken before I started the clinical trial, because that was dependent on your height and weight. That had me at about 1.5 inches taller than what she recorded today. I was quite shocked about that. She asked me if I wanted to do it again, and I said yes, and then we got the exact same height, which was really strange. I don't think I'm that short, though, but okay. The rest of my vitals, all good. Blood work, all good. Even my amylase is in the normal range now. My thyroid, T4, which was the only one resulted back as of the time of recording, that was normal. At the bottom end of normal, but still normal. And then when I talked with my doctor to review my MRI, there were some very, very minor changes compared to the last scan from 2 months ago. We had actually reviewed from over 2 years ago and just kind of went up until the one that I had 2 days ago. You can see there's this one tiny area and there's these little enhancement nodules that they kind of drift around, but they don't really grow. We think that they are just scar tissue and radiation damage, but we'll be doing another scan in another 2 months. In the meantime, she is going to bring up my case at the next tumor board advisory meeting to get the opinions on my brain from every other doctor that normally reviews all of the tumors. So that is also great to know. Even the people who write up the report for the MRI, they haven't noticed anything or even put on the report that potential tumor growth or anything indicating that there was something wrong. But we've noticed these tiny little changes over the past couple years, and we reviewed the images. But I feel fine, as well as I know what symptoms to look for if there were to be any aggressive tumor growth, much like there was in 2016. I went downhill very, very quickly back in the summer of 2016, and it was so obvious to everybody around me, but not me. And I wouldn't admit that anything was wrong or I knew something was wrong, but my brain wouldn't let me process it to be able to actually go to the doctor and take care of it. Now, I know what to look for, I know what to pay attention to, and I'm much more equipped with dealing with any potential or possible recurrence. And if it comes to that, then we'll figure out what to do from there. My tumor was in the right frontal lobe, so in theory, it is a easy surgery to perform. As easy as brain surgery can get for an experienced surgeon. So that was pretty much my day today. A lot of waiting. I didn't get home until it was maybe around 6:30. Yeah, I was arriving at Forest Hills to get the short bus ride from there to where my apartment is at 5 after 6 or something like that. So by the time I got on the bus and then walked up the hill, it was about 6:30 when I came in. And then I just kind of relaxed for a little bit, wanted to sit down and record this. I also just really wanted to sit down and record something because the past month and a half has not been the greatest for me for a number of reasons. And I think most of you know that my good friend Caitlin, she passed in March. It's still difficult because I still find myself taking photos that I would send to her. Like every time I would go in for treatment, I always send her pictures from my infusion chair or from the 9th floor of the Yaki building, which gives a nice view of the skyline and whatnot of downtown Boston. And I always like sharing like those photos. And it's weird because I was doing that for years. It just takes me time. That's seriously all I need is some time. And I know it's been a month and a half, but there's just been other things going on as well. I've definitely been trying to counter that by spending time outside working in the garden because spring is here. I cleaned up the backyard, the side, and got started on the garden and the herb garden for the back. Started some peppers, tomatoes, a whole herb garden, a whole bunch of other veggies. I think we'll have a pretty decent garden by the time midsummer to early fall rolls around. Personally, I think everybody should do some gardening at some point in their life. I think mostly because it teaches people about patience. For me, it's just so relaxing to put on some music and just work outside for an hour, or even if it's only for half an hour, just going out to get some fresh air, do a little bit of cleaning, come back in, get changed. And it's something that just makes me feel better. It's a good therapy for me. With the weather warming up also, I've been taking more walks over at the Arboretum. There have been some really nice flowering trees. I will post some more of them on the Facebook page as well. I think I post some of them on the Brain Cancer Discord channel if you're also on there. Anybody who is a brain cancer patient or caregiver, feel free to join us on the Brain Cancer Discord. It's a great community filled with everybody that can relate to exactly what you're going through. Everybody needs support during a brain cancer diagnosis and going through treatment. If you talk to a lot of people who are in this situation, when you're talking to people who have gone through the exact same experiences and can relate and don't just want to give you sympathy, but actually share their experiences and share advice, that is so valuable. And that is one of the goals of this podcast as well. Well, I think I'm going to wrap up this episode right now. I will try and get it edited quickly, get it up, and try and get my next episode fully edited and posted within the next few days, hopefully. It is a slightly longer episode. That's why it's taken me a little bit longer. And I've also just been like super busy with personal stuff and trying to spend some time outside and other things going on. And I feel really bad, but I think I just needed a short break, and I really enjoy being outside. And I'm also playing around with my Nikon camera. So I go over to the Arboretum. I usually take at least 1 or 2 lenses. And I'm looking to do a lot more photography this summer and fall as well. That's just always been another hobby that really, really helps me as well, because I can just go out with my camera and just try and be creative. I don't have to share any of my photos with anybody. I'm not out trying to be a pro photographer or anything like that. I just enjoy doing it, and it's far better than some of the other options that some people do to kill time. So that's how I look at it. But I want to say thank you all so much for listening and for your patience with me. If you need anything or would like to come on the show, just email me at braincancerpodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at braincancerpod. There is the website as well at braincancerpodcast.com. I don't have any of those other social media things like Instagram or TikTok or whatever. I think 3 is sufficient. Feel free to reach out for anything you might need, any questions, suggestions, or if you want to come on the show and tell your story. You are more than welcome. All you have to do is ask, and the show will be yours. I hope that you all have a great day or night, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.